assalamu alaikum, ji ayanu, pakhair ragale, ni hao, junashumme, washmale, ohio, gonzaimus, guten morgen, privyet, hola, bonjour, and hi, hugs and hellos to everybody who's tuned into PT World and are watching World this morning alongside the very amazing Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. Hello, Maha, how are you?
Thank you, assalamu alaikum. I'm very good today. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's you know, I'm awake, but I feel like it's Monday. It's been kind of a long weekend.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just ready to start.
I mean, the weekend was really superb for me because weekend this time was actually those 2 days where I could actually sleep, catch up with all my Z's. So I've been waking up at 6 p.m. in the evening as well, and then
wow.
all my entire family was actually really worried that I'm not really a person who sleeps so much. So then they were like, "Are you fine?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine, but I'm just happy that I'm sleeping enough."
Excellent.
What about you? What?
Okay, so in the introduction, individuals and organizations are raising awareness on the illness, which is ataxia.
Exactly, and quite a lot of people does not even know about what ataxia is.
They
So ladies
don't.
and gentlemen, I think we're going to get started from ground zero as well.
Yeah.
But before we get started, what we're going to do is that we're going to share a small video so that you can have an idea of what we'll be talking about. Let's go ahead, let's take a look. Good morning.
In the 2007, suddenly I have speaking problem, but I could not judge myself. After 1 year, 2 years, my walking problem also disturbing. Then I got so many doctors. No doctor diagnosed me correctly. I read 2 books on ataxia. One book is about fact about ataxia, and the other book recently I read down about ataxia. All the time I'm working on this course. My wife are looking for my children. My parents should be with me that I need.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that was a small video about somebody who's actually suffering from ataxia as well. He has actually joined us over here in the studios today. And to be very honest, he's done a great deal or great amount of work to make people aware of that, because this is what International Ataxia Awareness Day is all about. It's about all of those organizations working for the disease to make people aware. They arrange walks, they arrange lectures.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been doing that almost, this is our, I think, 4th or 3rd one. So,
Exactly.
because very few people actually suffer from it, and it isn't, it's not officially recognized. So, people are working on that. So to discuss all of these things, let's introduce to our guests and get the conversation started.
All right, so on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by Mr. Haji Babar Naseer, who's an ataxia patient and chairman Bin Adam Foundation for Ataxia. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Welcome, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us. And alongside Mr. Haji Babar, we have been joined by Dr. Mansoor Iqbal, who's a neurophysician at PIMS. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back.
Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so let's start with you, Dr. Mansoor. Tell us a little bit about ataxia.
Ataxia is a term. It is a broad term which is used to describe lack of coordination or inability to maintain balance.
Okay.
So a patient who suffers from ataxia has difficulty in walking and carrying out normal tasks. So he cannot understand the distance or cannot judge the distance. When he tries to pick something like glass from the table, he may not judge it clearly and overshoot or remain behind. So this is basically the problem is the balance and the coordination in the brain. So it is a broad term, and there are many causes.
Okay, so that's okay. So now let's get down to the kind of effects that I have. So it's not just coordination in picking things up; it's speech, visual impairment,
Yes,
everything.
the process basic problem is with the coordination.
Okay.
Because when the coordination affects the speech muscles or the tongue muscles,
Right, okay.
you will be having problem with the speech.
Okay.
When it affects the leg muscles, you will be having problem with the walking.
And with ataxia, it affects everything, does it?
Yes, it affects everything from top to bottom.
Or is it like for example, if somebody's speech is being distorted, then it might take time for their hands to shiver or legs to shiver?
Yes.
Or it happens altogether?
No, it is a gradually progressive disease, and it also depends on the cause, because if it is a genetic one or hereditary, then it is slow and progressive.
Okay.
Because otherwise the acquired ones, they are usually quick to come and quick to resolve as well.
Okay, so let's talk about the causes first of all, the causes of ataxia. Let's talk about the genetic cause first of all, and how can you get for somebody who might have it in their genes but their parents didn't have it. Can that happen as well?
Yes, that is called, there is a word which we use as mutation.
Okay.
Mutation is the change in the genes. So if it occurs, but it is very rare.
Right.
Mostly it is inherited through one of the parents, and luckily or fortunately, it is most of the times they are recessive genes.
Okay.
So they occur or present only when you have from both of the parents. If one is suffering, then the chances are very,
Yes.
very low
Okay.
to
All
get
right.
it.
And other than for example, you were telling us about the acquired.
Acquired, yes, there are some acquired causes as well, and they range from like drugs. We use different medicines these days. So the medicines, they can cause ataxia.
Okay.
Plus some nutritional deficiencies, they can also cause ataxia, plus some endocrine disorders, and then stroke can present with ataxia, another disease like multiple sclerosis, and even these tumors and like these also can present with ataxia. So ataxia is basically a sign. It is not as per se you see a single disease, it is a sign of many underlying diseases.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on to Haji Babar, and then we'll come back to you, Dr. Mansoor. So as we've seen, from the first year to now, things have gotten like worse, but you've been working very hard to raise awareness. You have your car with all the information. So how is your awareness mission going? Awareness building mission.
My mission continue from the last four years through PTV.
Okay.
First of all, I would like to thank PTV for playing my studio Ataxia.
You're welcome.
And thank you for PTV for this, that I'm the first person in the world that who is highlighting Ataxia in state and media broadcast
Yes.
PTV.
So you're
That is
getting
very-
support from the state and
yeah,
other media.
that's very supportive for me. I would like to thank PTV.
Great.
Thank you.
You're
About
welcome.
my mission, my mission after basically I was a businessman. I do business with
Okay.
my father at 15 years about.
Okay.
But after that, when I am developing ataxia, so suddenly no one understand my family.
Okay.
So basically, I think Texas like me, but I'm stand behind the ataxia.
Okay.
So that my mission is continue that every year I eagerly waiting this month ataxia awareness for this.
Yes, actually, because I saw on our memories as well that I was like, oh, we haven't had him on the show for a while, and then we got a message on the weekend that we were doing the show.
Exactly, and the best part over here, Maha, is that one thing I would love to say about Haji Babar over here, that he's so determined and he's so constant about his goal that you cannot even think about being this constant on being on a mission as well. Because what happens is that Haji Babar Sahab will keep you posted, first of all, that this is what's happening internationally, then he will text you, then he will message you, then he will call you, and then he will tell you that, okay, this day is coming, we need to do something. And one of the articles was even published in a magazine in United States of America, which was about ataxia and our show too, and I don't think that our show would have made it to that mag unless it wasn't about ataxia.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you've had your difficulties, you've had your problems at one, with, as Haji Babar's already mentioned, he had problems with the family and their understanding. But now everything's good.
No,
Or it's difficult, but you're there.
Because now I'm ending 10 years.
Sorry?
10 years. I'm ending
Maintaining, yeah, okay.
in 10 years.
Okay.
doctor, now family like that. It's not my fault. It's due to the ataxia.
Okay.
That's why so if I had no ability, if I had no work on Spain, how I can do this work for Ataxia Awareness Pakistan?
Okay.
So that's
Okay, and that's wonderful. So let's go back to Dr. Mansoor. As we saw in the clip as well over the last few years, you know, you can tell the progression of ataxia. There's a lot of misconception, like as Haji Babar just mentioned, that people don't believe you that you're sick, that they think, you know, either you're drunk or you're on drugs because of the slurring and, you know, the way, the motor skills. So how further have you come in the last few years in raising the awareness and kind of getting ataxia recognized, because it's still not in the mainstream?
Yes,
Sorry,
because
question.
it's a rare disease.
Yeah.
So, and most of the times,
Yeah.
the genetic ones, still we don't have cure, and it is only just we can manage it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the people and the even you know the drug companies, they are not interested in this.
Okay.
But still, with this awareness and with the foundations like Haji Baba Naseer is running, the awareness has increased.
Okay.
And this is the show which we are doing today. It is
Okay.
also a
No, thank you. And it's
No, but-
important. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's one thing, I think let's get to the point as well. Now, for
Yeah.
example, since you just said that, you know, ataxia is not curable. So you have obviously
some ataxias because some are curable, like acquired ones
Okay.
mostly are curable, so we cannot
So
say
okay,
like
let's
that.
first of all, let's talk about the acquired ones. How do we find a cure for that? And then we'll move on to the genetical one and what to do to manage it as well. So let's
Yes.
talk about the one which you acquire.
Yes, as a doctor, we are more interested that we rule out in any patient
Yeah.
the acquired causes,
Yes.
because they are treatable and they should not be missed.
Okay.
So, number one is the vitamin deficiencies, like
Okay.
B12 deficiency. It's very common, and luckily our population is very fond of getting B12s.
Okay.
So they usually get injections.
Okay. So
of
we
their
need to
own.
continue with the
Yeah.
vitamin intake.
And
Okay.
So, secondly, the alcohol intake.
Right.
This also cause ataxia, and it is if we stop that, it can be cured.
Okay.
Another vitamin E deficiency plus endocrine disorders like hypothyroidism.
Okay.
If it is found, it can also be cured.
Okay.
Okay, now let's since you know
Interesting.
we just mentioned in the show that we've seen that people or the organizations, the bigger medical firms are not even interested in this disease because it's not very common as well. But when you talk about, for example, intoxication or the usage of alcohol, the entire West is doing that. Why aren't they getting ataxia then?
They are treating that. They are mostly concerned with that, but still, even after state legislations, or the people are still consuming alcohol, and they
No,
cannot
because
stop
that's
it.
not, because everyone gets it. That's a trigger for certain people who probably already have a tendency to go towards
No, but we're talking about acquired one.
Acquired.
So acquired one is because of the habits or the vitamin
Yeah,
deficiencies.
but that's
what you're
yeah,
saying.
but we're talking about the habits taking it to an extreme level,
Yes.
right? Okay, yeah. So,
So please, you know, just be very careful about all of these things which Dr. Saab is telling you. Now let's come back to the genetical one, where it's hereditary.
Yes, and hereditary, the commonest one is this Friedreich's ataxia, which is about 50%
Okay.
of the patients, and it is transmitted through the genes, and it is recessive, which means that when both of the parents will
Have the-
have, then you will have,
Okay.
and the transmission is very low still.
Okay.
Like Haji Babar, he is suffering from ataxia, but his children are
fine.
fine.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because it's a recessive gene.
Yes.
So
Okay.
how do we manage this disease over a period of time? Because if it's hereditary, what happens is that, you know, you've said that there's no cure. So what you have to do is that you probably have to do some exercises. There might
So
be
how
some
do you manage
medication.
it?
How
Yes.
do you manage it?
First thing is that making life easy for him. That is like he's using this walking frame while walking. So use of walking aids, canes, plus modification of the home. Like they can have things like so he should not fall. Plus ramps They should be in our setup. Usually there are no ramps in most of the buildings, whereas in West every building which is made
Yeah,
like
it's an
wheelchair
all-inclusive.
friendly,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that this he can, or any patient who is disabled can easily go and
Okay.
forward.
Now we're talking about the ataxia patient. However, it's not just the one person that's suffering. It's
Yes,
it's
it's the
difficult
whole
for everyone. It's the
family.
whole family. And then, as in the previous years, we've highlighted Haji Babar's like difficulties. Now, how can the family play their role in assisting someone? So I'll ask you, Haji Babar. As someone who suffers, what support or what would you like to see from family or friends or the public?
About my what?
Yeah.
About the disease, about life living with ataxia.
Yeah, the life is up and down, up and down. From the last 10 years, I manage now myself.
Okay.
It's a basic effect on psychological effect.
Yep.
So, if the person has a specific disease like polio, he can open, he can speak and can do. If the person other disease, but like my disease, ataxia, everything disturbed. My speaking problem disturbed, walking problem disturbed, so family problem disturbed. So in this disease ataxia I managed in to family for life, very impossible, very difficult for me. But Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, I'm managing my life
Okay.
for this.
Okay.
And then
Excellent.
just tell us a few quick tips. How do you manage yourself? Because it's been 10 years, it's been a decade you have been living with this disease. So I think you psychologically have actually prolonged the effects of ataxia onto your body as well. And I think you have defied them as well. So what are those quick tips? What do you do? Do you exercise to stop or slow down the disease as well?
It's a very good question because exercise very much important for any disability. Ataxia, physiotherapy, but my physiotherapy is driving a car. I drive my car mostly 100 kilometers every day.
Okay.
I go every day where to pass a brochure, pass a awareness. So that's very good for if I stop my car and sit in my home, then I can move that effect.
Yeah, and
That's
I've even
excellent.
seen that he's done a few modifications to his car as
Yeah, I
well. He's
saw
got
that
a
side.
knob, and then there are
Okay.
like stickers all top of it.
So I think what the important point here is that you need to create a goal, an objective for yourself so that you can get out of bed every day and focus and have something to motivate you. That's very important. So Dr. Mansoor, let's ask you, before we run out of time, for people who are suffering, who already had the onset of ataxia, what can they do to delay the progression of the illness, and what can they do to kind of combat it?
So first of all, the example of Haji Babar is in front of them.
Yes.
So they should see him and then
Feel motivated.
feel motivated.
Yes.
And after that, must see a doctor so that he can or she can help them in combating with the disease. With
Okay.
modifications, with rehabilitation, and with exercise and physical therapy, plus psychological therapy and other social support, they can manage well and they can live quite normal life.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And Haji Saab, do you want to say something in the end?
I would like to add one thing that if there is no cure and disease like ataxia, people never decide. Just work and focus to other thing, not on disease ataxia.
Okay.
People that this effect on the mind. If there is no cure or ataxia,
So
then
just don't take it to your head. Be
yeah, I'm
focused.
the
and-
example of
Very nice.
you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm working still now.
Yes, exactly.
in one case.
And we are
Excellent.
proud of you. Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you
us,
so
gentlemen.
much.
It was
I would
lovely
like
have
to
you.
add one last thing. Then don't lose hope. With research going in every field, it is possible that in the coming year we may have a cure for this.
Inshallah.
Exactly. Great. Thank you so much for taking the time out today. And that's a very good message from Dr. Mansoor and Haji Babar, that you have examples in front of you and don't lose hope. Things may seem bad, and psychologically, with it can cause depression,
Exactly.
etc. But you got to try and keep the faith and keep on trying.
And just be positive with life. I think this is the only thing which we can do and which is in our hands. So just take a deep breath and let it all go out. And for all those people who are actually family members of somebody who's suffering from ataxia, thank you very much for being patient. We really need to be patient around such people as well, because they're not doing it on purpose.
Exactly.
It's their physical condition.
Exactly. And it goes back to the public service message that be tolerant and be patient with your loved ones. And with that, we're going for a short break. And when you come back, we're going to be changing the direction a little bit of the show. Stay tuned.
We'll be disturbing a few strings. Good morning.